So, good afternoon, coaches. We are continuing with our book review, Biology of Belief, and today Danya Lakshmi will be sharing the chapter 2. Though she did it last time, still she wanted to do it as a full stretch, completing the complete chapter. It's the environment stupid. So, over to you, Danya.
Yeah. Thank you, Revati. So today, as we are going with the book review of the Biology of Belief, today we are in the second chapter. It's the environment stupid. So the author is Bruce Lipton. So we are going to see what the author really experienced and as a scientist, how things went on in understanding about the gene. Right. So here, as he believed in his mentor, who is the first cell biologist, Irv. So here, the mentor said just one thing: when you are seeing the cells are getting aligned, just look into the environment of the cell and not the cell itself. So this statement stuck in Bruce Lipton very strongly. And when he started doing certain experiments with the cells, he started, seeing the cells are getting sick and they're not being behaving in the proper way that he wanted to. So he started looking into the environment where the cell is and he started improving the environment, and he found that even the sick cells started getting still better, and the improvement was seen in that manner. So he started believing it so strongly that the environment is the thing which really matters for the cell to have a better side or the worse side. So he believed in that. So here, next, moving on to one question that each one of us would have had before we stepped into holistic approach, or our clients do come up with this question, like, are we the victims of hereditary? So here, we each one of us blame upon the hereditary, our generations together, saying that because of certain genes, I am facing this kind of problem, this kind of disease, or this kind of behavior. Maybe it can be procrastinating, it can be any mental health issues, or any kind of disease conditions for that matter. So it has been blamed on the hereditary, that it has been carried from there, right? So here, the scientist has, connected many dots with the genes, and they found out that only 2% of the gene load carries the control of the diseases. So, is it right to blame that the complete hereditary thing, the genes carry the complete the disease that has to be transferred to the next generation? No, right? Only the 2% is there. So here, just for an example, if we could quote, just take a car, okay? So the car key is there with the person who is supposed to drive. So here, if we say that without the key, the car, the complete control of the car is there only with the key, then it is absolutely wrong, because the key is just a tool which is used to, ignite the engine of the car, right? And that is also being operated by the person who is in the driver's seat. So here, the trigger has to be given by the external environment, and then the car moves, right? The person who gives the trigger, who gives the accelerator, who gives the brake, and everything, it happens through the person who's driving. And how could we really blame the gene which is there when we compare it to the gene body again? So here, the trigger of the environment is supposed to be, taken into account, not just the gene makeup itself. So that is the small, the comparison with the real life, that we could really understand how the gene triggers happen with the environment. So here, the scientist has done many experiments with this, but a few other scientists who came in row started ignoring these experiments of understanding why the gene was basically uh, uh, not the control of uh, the complete body regulation, but they always repeatedly saying that genes control biology. So this got really stuck, and many scientists ignored the other test which happened earlier, and they started believing that gene is the only thing which controls the biology. So further moving, now let's see what is the important stuff of life. So the important stuff of life, when we see the cells are made up of four types of molecules, the large molecules, which are the polysaccharides, lipids, and the nucleic acid, which is the DNA or the RNA, and the proteins. So apart from all the molecules which is there, the protein is considered to be the most important molecule, and it has been found that there are more than a lakh of different types of proteins, and these carry amino acids, and the amino acids are said to be the backbone of these proteins. So here the amino acids are also noticed to have the positive and the negative charges. So with the positive and the negative charges, what happens is like the shape of the protein also changes with these positive and negative charges, which acts like a magnet. Okay, they repel and they attract according to the other charges of the amino acids. So here, when the extension of the protein, which had the extension of the backbone of the protein, which had no helper protein. So here there comes an helper protein, which is specifically called as a chaperones. So these helper proteins help in folding the extended version of the backbone, right? So when these when they see when there is a defective version of these proteins which is unable to get folded, are being um, are being recycled by the synthesis of the protein itself. So then comes the three-dimensional, sorry. So the three-dimensional shape of the protein by all these folding, which happens due to the electrical charges, which we already saw, which is the positive or the negative charges the amino acids carry. So when these collide together, they form like a structure which is like the electrical beater, the electrical egg beater, which we have, which collides, the two stands collide together. When one moves, the other moves, right? So like that, a different gear patterns are formed because of these charges, and they assemble to make different functions of the pathway. So these pathways are nothing but that we have already learned through our earlier science lessons, which are the Krebs cycle pathway, the digestion pathway, the muscle contraction pathway, or the respiration pathway. So these, the three-dimensional proteins help in these kind of assemble and make in function of these pathways. So this also, the shifting of these movements of the three-dimensional proteins, it happens nearly thousand movements happen in a single second. So which is like really unimaginable, and this actually propels the life. So talking about all these things, the author never mentioned about the DNA in the earliest, pages of the chapter. But now he says that um, because it's not the DNA which is the boss, it is the electrical charges, the electromagnetic charges where the protein carried, that was responsible for the behavior generating in the movement, and it is not the DNA. That is what it was being proved by this by the action of the protein which was done. So here it was also believed that going back to 1910, it was believed that the information is being passed generation to generation through chromosomes. So what they did, they dissected the chromosome, and they started and they found that there are two kinds of molecules, which is nothing but the protein and the DNA. And it is determined that the DNA carry the information, and it is and the proteins do the regular other functions, right? So in 1944, the scientists came to a determination that the DNAs carry the hereditary information, and the RNAs are the Xerox copies of the DNA, and the flow of the information happens through the DNA, then the RNA, then to the protein. And nowhere they found that the life expressions or the environment could alter the activities or the characteristic features of the DNA. That is what they identified through the primacy of DNA. So next, moving into the Human Genome Project. So here they studied the comparison of different genes with the human gene, wherein the human gene they identified with various experiments, which is close to 25,000 genes. And the primitive organisms which they compared with, it was like the roundworm, the fruit flies, and the mouse. So the roundworm had nearly 24,000 gene. The fruit fly is nearly 19,000 gene, and the 15,000 gene, and the mouse nearly was similarly having the gene of the human. So here, to state that the gene expressions would be different, but the number of genes were compared to the other organisms was quite closely counted. It was not way more difference than the superior, the speaking of the human genes, right? So here they also did another experiment by dissecting the cell. So when the nucleus, which is the brain of the cell, was removed, they found that the cell was still active without the brain, and it was able to survive for months together by doing its activities, by wounding, by healing the wounds and all these things. But the only uh, thing was like it would not be able to reproduce. That capability has gone. Okay, so with this experiment, we also get to know the cell can survive by itself when the environment is really in a better state. So moving next to the another important topic, which is the epigenetics. So the epigenetics is nothing but which came into new revolution by a group of scientists after this Human Genome Project. So here the epigenetics, which generally means control above genetics. So here, when we see the experiments done, proved that the environmental signals give the information to the protein, regulatory proteins, and then it passed on to the DNA, and then to the RNA and the proteins. And it was also moving from the proteins to the to the other way around also. So here the experiment showed that the environment plays a major role, and that is where the information is being passed, and there can be changes made in the characteristic feature of the DNA, which carried the hereditary information also. So here they did a small experiment with a mice, which was obese, and it had the risk of cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and cancer as well. And the offspring born was also having the same characteristic feature. It was also obese. It had an yellow coating as like the mother, and it was also into the risk factors. With the study of introducing the methyl group rich supplements, okay, where the human stores have like the folic acid, the vitamin B12, betaine, and the choline. So when they start introducing all these methyl group rich supplements into the mice, the offspring born that they saw was it was having a brown coat, um, on a brown coat skin, and the risk factors were completely, changed. It didn't had any kind of risk factor. It had a real good shape, with lean body mass, and it was not in the obese side, and everything got really altered. So here they say that with this methyl group supplementation, the DNAs can silence or modify the gene activity. So that is what they were able to prove. And coming to this is what the parental expression that we already saw with the mice study. And coming to another point of understanding, they did many studies to understand what was that the extension of the DNA that they really found in the microscopical studies. So the extension or the stretches that they found from the DNA, which is called the telomere. So here the telomeres are called the extensions of the DNA, and it also uh, was found to be having a property of holding the strands of the DNA together, as in like a shoelace. So in the tip of the shoelace, if you could see a plastic notch which holds the DNA strand tightly, not to flare up, right? The thread of the lace doesn't flare up. So the same way, here the DNA uh, threads, the strands doesn't flare up because the telomere here is tightly holding it up in a stretched way so that it doesn't flare up. So here what they had found out was like, uh, it is it is it has got the enzyme. The enzyme telomerase is also being secreted, which is a major one which helps in extending the telomere. If the enzyme wasn't present, the telomere would have lost its function in a long run. So here the telomere has got one more is doing a beneficiary effect in one more thing, is like when the generations are passing, the DNA has to the cell has to duplicate the DNAs. So wherein when it has to form into each daughter cell, the edges of the DNA are being cut. The edges of the DNA are nothing but the telomere. So as we imagine, it is not cut in every generations and it is vanished. So almost like 50 generations, it can easily be saved. So this extension happens with the help of the enzyme telomerase, right? And it is also called as the fountain of youth. So now the telomerase is doing its duty to the fullest by extending it and helping us uh, in all our ways to be healthy. And the beautiful factor, the activity of the telomerase is that to keep us healthy and extend our lifestyle. I'm sorry, extend our lives. So here, when it is doing its activity, what are we doing is the last and final question of this chapter. So if we are really, catching up the life experiences to stimulate or to suppress the telomerase activities with stressful, behaviors that we are going to bring into action, or some kind of childhood abuse, or some kind of domestic violence that we are going through, or some kind of traumatic stresses that we are going through, or nutritional deficiencies, or if we are not exercising, or all these, negative behavioral patterns or negative traumas or anything which has been happening continuously from our childhood, then the telomerase enzyme activity is being suppressed. So once when it is suppressed, definitely the stretching of the telomere is also being suppressed. So only then the lifespan becomes less. So are we going to be the cause of, taking all these environmental effects into action within us to, to feel depressed or to attract or getting triggered to all these disease conditions? Or are we going to really work within ourselves to keep ourselves in a safer place? It is up to the each human being's, you know, state of mind or the perception to understand in what state that we can be. But the bodily function, the creation, it is doing its duty to the fullest. It is only that we have to understand, not blaming on the genes. It is the environment which is really, required to be in a better way to help us all stay healthy and to extend our life. So this is all about the chapter. It's the environment stupid. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Danya. Coaches, any questions?
Well explained. It's so complicated to look at the book, but still it's a little difficult to take everything at once.
If you can see the book, let me just unblur it.
I know.
My husband was literally asking, I don't think so. You would have studied so much for your exams. If you would have done that, you would have literally,
Yeah, that is seen. That is very well seen
look at the
because
notes.
I know.
Day and
I
night, I
have the
was.
book,
Hmm.
so I was wondering, so many pages, and to make it so simple, lots of hard work you
And
have put
again,
in. Congrats.
thank you, Mahita. And again, thanks to Revati and Neelam for really pushing me to do this. Otherwise, I would have never done this.
Yeah, that's what I
Because
wanted to tell. Yeah.
seriously, because just before this session starting, also I spoke with Revati. I said, like, Revati, I don't think so. I can do it directly because last time only I didn't feel satisfied. I didn't do it well. I'll record it by myself and I'll put it. But somehow the conversation with Revati ended up saying that don't listen to yourself, do it the opposite. And I thought, like, okay, I was sitting till 1:30. I was just breaking my head. Okay, let me do it. Done. Now,
Yeah, you have
I
done
should
it very well.
thank you.
So, coaches, my sincere request is to please read this chapter because, see, if I am going to do the session or Danya or anybody for that matter, we will be able to share it with our perception. But when you read it by yourself, you will understand at a different level, right? And you will understand it better as well. Very, very important chapter because here, in this chapter only, actually, he speaks about this telomere, this enzyme activity, how the DNA and RNA strands are formed, how it get cut, and how it forms, how it replicate, whatever. It is so much in detail, and Danya has made it very simple so that we are able to understand, we are able to connect it better. But the chapter itself is so much of depth, and she has really made it very, very simple. I request everyone to buy this book, Biology of Belief, worth investing, and every line is like priceless. And moving forward, he would have quoted so much of research papers. Even though I'm recording, but still, I would like to say this: there are so many research papers that are against the pharma companies, that are against the allopathic practice. So, but it's really good. In fact, you can also take this as a point when you are going to present a case in any conference. You can actually take this book as a reference because he has given how statins actually made this illusionary market, and he would have spoken so many things. So if you're going to present a case, take this book as a reference and just quote this research paper as well. So it adds weightage to your presentation. So that is from my end. And yes, any questions? Anything to add? Anyone has already gone through this book?
I have bought the book, trying
Okay.
to read, looking at the book only. It's like, very small letters and so many pages.
Yes.
Oh my God. But I have to get the habit of reading at least one page a day.
No, I would tell you, Mahita, like go with the subtitles, whatever they have given, okay, in
Okay.
each chapter. Each subtitle, you read it for at least 2 to 3 times or 3, 4 times to make yourself
course.
understand better, then move to the next subtitle because everything connects, but still, when you don't understand the first one, you can't move to the second one.
Yes, true. Now also after listening to yours, I just looked at the book and then I thought I have to study the first chapter and then only I have to move. I missed the first chapter by Neelam, I think. So many pages.
And to be appreciated, Mahita, see, wherever you are, you're trying to attend all the sessions, most of the sessions, and
Yeah.
you're trying to be on the camera. That is really to be appreciated. I
know,
really admire
it's
that.
like you are all doing a great job. It's beyond words, like wonderful opportunity to learn, at the what to say, convenience of sitting in one place. I'm so grateful for you all. You are sharing your knowledge, so I don't want to miss it.
Pleasure is ours.
I just want to add, you should see Mahita in 9 a.m. sessions. She's always a rock star there, scoring the highest. Now she becomes a sincere student in the other sessions, but she is the topper there. So that's a
Yes.
wonderful session, Danya. Yeah, I am also
Thank you,
trying to
Jyoti.
attend because I have the book I wanted to read. I haven't started yet. So probably this glimpse of information is helping me to imbibe more, and probably I'll get into the book.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for that.
Thank you, Jyoti. Thank you, Mahita. Anyone else would like to add?
Ma'am, I also have this book. I mean, I purchased this book from last year, but still have not started yet to start. So, ma'am has said it correctly. We need to push ourselves. After this chapter, I'm thinking of starting from the chapter 1 and then.
So when your brain says let's read some other day, don't listen to it. Just open
Yes,
and
yes,
read
ma'am.
one. Immediately break that resistance. Work against your resistance.
I
It
purchased
really
so many
works.
books, but yeah, so everything is वो सजा के पूरा wardrobe में पड़ा on my bookshelf.
Ayuda Puja gone, Saraswati Puja, everything gone. Now we
No,
have
no.
to
You know what I
take it
did
out.
this year? Instead of buying dresses for my birthday, I bought 6, 7 books for myself.
Wow.
Very good.
And this is
Super.
one of them.
Even I
Wonderful.
have done that. Many books in the last month.
So a lot of book reviews waiting, Neelam and Revati,
Yes, yes.
on
Yeah,
queue.
provided we read.
Names taken. It's so nice, Jyoti. Actually, even when I was talking with my maid, also I was telling her like why we are actually buying new dresses for Diwali.
Hmm.
See, back then when we were like in our childhood, we were having only countable occasions where we used to buy dress, right? Either for our
Correct.
birthday or Diwali, Pongal for us, and for you could be some other things, but we can just count like 3 to 4 occasions per year.
In childhood, only one dress for birthday, I remember.
Birthday. Yeah. Oh, okay. So
And yeah, go ahead.
So I was just telling her like, okay, we have to first of all adapt to the present scenarios. See, nowadays it's not like I don't stop myself from buying a dress. I don't wait for any occasion to happen. If I see a dress, I
Exactly.
just buy it, right?
And because of
So
that, we don't even value the occasions. We don't even value what we are buying. And
so
this
true.
year, I took an oath. Last 10
And
months, I didn't buy a single dress. I
Very
don't
good.
want to
and
buy.
yeah, decluttering becomes a headache again.
Exactly. And this year, I was doing full-fledged Diwali cleaning. And after resetting the wardrobe, I decided the entire next year I'm not going to buy a single saree because I don't know where to space them. Ridiculously. Oh my God. So this year done, 2 more months, I'm not going to buy dresses. Next year, I'm not going to buy any sarees.
No, even I was actually telling myself this morning after talking to my mate, okay, let me go back to my childhood days. Let me stick on to only those 2 to 3 occasions where I used to buy dresses. Henceforth, I'm not going to buy dresses.
Correct.
Like whenever I get, instant gratification, like we see something and immediately that becomes irresistible, and eventually I end up buying. This time I was like, okay,
Mm.
probably I think I can save a lot if I look back my Amazon shopping. Luckily we have all those history there, right? So if I go into that, then it's like crazy sometimes. So
So true.
yes, we can
So
save a
true.
lot. Whatever we are earning it easy, quite sufficient, I guess. Not this way, like literally feeling okay, we have to make more money, but rather, yeah, already making is sufficient enough, but we have to be more conscious.
Mhm.
So that's nice. So investing in
So
book. So I bought
sell
a
and its
shoes for
environment,
myself.
we and our environment.
Yeah, true, true. Very true. So that's it, coaches. So I think we can end the session for today. Neelamji, any
Okay.
closing notes? You didn't turn on your camera today.
I am looking
Outside.
horrible, so no camera, but awesome. Waiting for more.
Neelam, your voice is too low. I mean, your audio for me, for everyone. Everyone.
Again, laptop issue, so probably I'll
Okay.
have to change that.
Okay.
Thank you, Dhanya, for the chapter.
Thank you, Neelam. You all have given me much more confidence. That's what I would say. And my telomerase is getting stimulated.
Good one, good one. And it needs lot of hard work and time, spaced learning to review these kind of books. It's not easy.
Jyoti, I cannot say this book as for a review. Probably we should see this as like a subject book,
Correct.
Subject book, we can
I,
never review it. It's like
that's
that,
so true.
that book.
That's so true. I have a copy too. It's very, very, very difficult. It's like probably the review, the format of review changes every time we give a revision.
True. Very true. And this book cannot be reviewed, first of all. It's like, we are just using the terminology book review, but what we are trying to do here is we are trying to take some
Understand.
classes about, yes, about the cell, DNA, the cell membrane, the part of it, each of it function. That's how it is. That the book is all about that. And it's a must buy book for every medical professional. They can understand a lot.
Yeah. So true.
So yes, so then I guess we are done. So thank you so much, Danya, once again for putting it everything. So epigenetics also is being covered. So now we can await Danya Irfan for chapter 4. Probably not next week, upcoming weeks to be Diwali. So the next week we will be connecting for the continuation of the chapters. Okay. Thank you so much, coaches, for joining us, and thank you so much for sharing all your thoughts.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Yeah.
Bye-bye.